that intro will pretty much lead into the kind of dynamic I want the rest of the show go to, right? Dating. I want to really I have some videos that I want us to react to, have our thoughts to. So get any ideas like how is let's air it out, right? I'll start, right? Because I
Okay.
want to know how your dating life has been, right? Mine has been pretty shitty. Okay.
Okay.
I've been trying to be active on it,
Hmm.
but it's like, and I know a little bit. You told me that you're not doing a whole lot, but while I'm being active in it, I'm seeing more and more, right? And this is the thing where a lot of men are tired. This is the in 2024, which
Hmm.
is Happy New Year's, guy. Everyone, welcome to the new year. Most men are having problems, right?
I was trying to get that for
I
the.
know you're trying. Most men have given up, right? A lot of men have given up because, and for me, it's like I'm kind of borderlining on it, right? Because I just feel like women have so much expectations, yet put so little effort. I've been going on dates or talking to women where they're just not. There's no effort. There's really no effort in pushing conversations along. Um, and then it's like you don't even know if they like you or not, right? Because they don't do things to like show you that okay, oh, I want to be with this guy, or I want this guy and shit like that. Where okay, if you have those signs, you know that okay, as a man, I'm gonna put in more effort, right, to push this along. And this is what I get a lot, and I feel like, and again, my dating, right? I've been dating and talking to predominantly black women. So this is the crux of it, right? Where okay, these are the women that I'm dating, but these are the outcomes. And as some of my haters will say, like, "Oh, I'm ugly" or whatever, but you know what? It is what it is. I'm talking to these women. I'm going on dates with these women, and I've had black girlfriends, plenty. But it's like, is it now just gotten more worse as time goes on? Because you know, I just find it like back in the day, right? When I was younger, women barely put in effort, but it's like it was more than now. So it feels like it's gotten worse over time for me. So, and it's like that's why maybe it makes me even more jaded. And again, I'm the type where I'm not saying all women. I'm not like this is not a blanket statement. Oh, these are all women. No, but again, it's like you get this thing where you see women online complaining, oh, men don't have money, men don't try, all these complaints of men. Okay. And then yet in reality, right, when let's say men that do try, they get nowhere. So it's like that's where you get my content where I'm putting out women, to the fire, where I'm holding women accountable. You want men to put effort in to be providers, to support and all this stuff, but yet what effort are you doing, right? So I want to. I'm talking. I will talk more about it, because with the videos I have. But let's go with What's your thoughts?
My thoughts. I mean, my dating life is non-existent, right? But like, I don't know. I think right now,
Is it a choice
yeah,
or
I think it's kind of a choice. I'm not like I'm not like pushing them away or anything like that. I'm like, oh my god, all
you're not
these.
trying? You're not. You're
Yeah,
not
but I'm not.
actively
Yeah, I'm
trying
not
to.
actively trying to find someone or date. And I think just where I'm in my life, I just have some other things going on, like not necessarily in a bad way, just some other things I'm concerned with that take up my time and attention. I don't know that I'm ready to be fully engaged in a relationship, so that's why I'm not pursuing one. But if I were, I do feel like there are opportunities for me, but I don't know. I
That's
don't
the
know.
thing, right?
Now I will say that ooh, that there's a lot that comes with relationships, and I'll admit to even being worried about dealing with some of that from another partner and their personality. And I've seen some relationships go bad in ways where I'm like, glad I'm not in one.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'll admit to that. But really, I just think it's because I'm occupied with other things right now. So
And that's the thing where I wanted to say I do want to promote to all men, right? Good men, to strive to be the best version of yourself. Constantly do whatever, right? I'm telling you, behind the scenes, I am on this man, trying to get him to be the best version of himself. Any steps he can do, right, to succeed, I'm trying to push him to be go towards. And
yeah,
I'll push
finish
any
having a
man, any good man that's watching, you know, the same thing. Strive to be the best version of yourself. Sacrifice. If you're scared of anything, jump forward. Just make those big changes. Because at the end of the day, if you are at the best version of yourself, okay, then you know that at the end of the day, you're the prize. If women don't want you, well, that's their loss. But when you look at your life and like, you know what, I could do better and this, that, then at the end of the day, how can you think that what? And again, I hold both men and women accountable, right? What are you giving to a woman? What are you bringing to the table for this woman to want to be with you? Okay, that's the thing. Men should understand that too. In life, I'm gonna be honest, right? It's about give and take. You should not be just taking instead of and not giving, right? What if we can ask what a woman brings to the table? Well, you should be bringing something to the table as well, right? You should in yourself. You should look at yourself and know that I am valuable, right? I know what I bring for women that women ask for, right? And that's the thing where I want to promote more men to strive, to be better. But I also say that you know what you could. It doesn't necessarily mean while you're striving to be better, you can't date. So I'm on that path where I wanted someone while I'm still striving to be better. So I would like someone to be on that path with me. But again, that's my path. So, but speaking of those, let's get into the first clip and check it out. So, like I said, we're talking about the title of the episode, right? Why do black women make dating so difficult nowadays? Now, again, I can say women in general, right? But again, like I date predominantly black women. I don't know how have you dated women outside your race?
um, no, I haven't.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so on this show, on this panel, two men have dated predominantly black women. Okay, again, you could say this for any woman, right? So I'm not, but I'm just like, I guess shoot me if you want. I'm just making it a little bit more controversial. But this is what I'm saying. I honestly believe that black women have. Let me clarify, right? Internet black women, right? I'm not gonna be do such a blanket statement, but I want to be a little bit more precise, especially internet black women, right? Women that chronically online making these videos, or women that make these comments on these videos, right? These internet black women, those are the women, right, that are making dating difficult. So we're going to see how it is, right? Let's check this first clip out.
I genuinely want to know why black men make dating so difficult. They make it more difficult than any other societal group on this planet, I feel like. Of course, there are the outliers, but as a group, as a collective, they're the most hard headed to deal with when it comes to dating, relationships, commitment, like all that stuff. And I'm just curious as to why. I feel like it could all really be so simple, and I know that because I've seen it be simple with other types of people. But when you're dealing with a black man, they make you go through hoops and loops just to ultimately end up with nothing. Like, I really want to know what happens to black men specifically that caused them to have so much, like, anguish about being in a relationship or being committed. Like, I really don't see how it's that big of a deal to be committed to somebody. They're the main ones to not tell you their true intentions. They're the main ones to lead you on. They're the main ones to play game. And then me being one of the ones who's only attracted to black men, it's really tough because there's not much to work with. And it's really frustrating for cause them to be so standoffish towards relationships and commitment. I really want to know. I don't know, maybe it is time to expand my horizons and see what the other races have to offer because this is just not it.
Now I have a lot to say, right?
Okay.
Before I say, I'm gonna give it to you, but this is the thing, right? Before I give it to you, I want to say this, right? You or a lot of my friends, right, are reasons why I don't give any credit to these women. Okay, men like you, men like James, okay, they show me differently. You know, they show me why these women are liars. Okay, these women are hypocrites. These women are delusional. I know black men that don't fall in this, and I'm going to go in deeper about it when I really talk about it. But like I said, my friends show me differently. That's why I have something to say about women like this, right? That's why I said these internet black women. Okay, this is their delusion because I know black men specifically that don't fall into this thought pattern that these women try to spew, and a lot of women online agree with. So, how about what's your thoughts?
I think she has a point.
Okay, go for it.
So what I think happens, what I think is happening in her case, the men she's attracted to are very attractive men. It's the same thing that it happens to us too, right? Very attractive women. We all go after them, so they know they have their pick, right? And very attractive men know that they have their pick. So so it's like you're at a buffet and you're like, yeah, I want this, but you're not gonna pick that and be like, I'm gonna stick with this the whole time because I got a buffet. So I'm gonna try this a little bit and then I'm gonna try something else. And there are a lot of guys and women who are like that. And I think she may be running into guys who are like that. I don't think it's the majority of men. But this is another thing. I hope I'm not stepping on your toes when I say this. I might actually want to say this in response to whatever you're about to say next, but I'll put out there anyway. I think that sometimes we take our own bad experiences, or we take the worst examples or the most toxic examples, and we say, this is what y'all are like. And it's not true, but it works because we're not all toxic, but we're not all perfect either. And a lot of us may share one or two qualities with somebody toxic, right? So like I think I'm a good dude, but if you put like the worst, the most toxic guy, and these are all his qualities, one or maybe two of those, I have a tendency to, make the same kind of mistakes. So like, see, you're just like him. I'm not just like him, but we might have some things in common, and that's unfortunate. So now all men are like this. All men aren't like that. I don't even think the majority of men are like that. But she's running into men like that. And a lot of them are the ones who know that they can get what they want when they get it. And I don't know what to say. It sucks that that's her experience, but I don't think that she may find somebody really nice outside of her race, but I don't think the problem is that black men are like that. I think that that's been her experience with who she picks.
Okay. So here's my thing, right? She's 100% wrong.
Okay.
I mean, I get what you see. This is the thing where what you said is it's kind of like makes it seem like she's 100% wrong, right? Here's the thing where I want to educate you and make things a little bit more clear.
Okay.
It's a difference between men and women. Okay, men, yes, men will go for attractive women. Okay, men are not stupid at that, but they also know that a lot of times men can put women into a category. Okay, let's say this attractive woman, she's so attractive, but everything else about her is shitty. She's only for sex. Okay, I want to see her as a sexual partner. Let's say this other woman, right? She's not that attractive, but like everything else about her is perfect. She's gonna be a relationship thing. Okay, that's a lot of men, right? Where they think that yes, men can see, men do go for attractive women and they're toxic, but men can know that a lot of times he's only using her for sex. He only cares about her for sex. That's a lot of times. But this is the difference, right? But the true difference, okay, at the end of the day, women are gatekeepers to their bodies. So it's who they allow in. Okay? And in essence, women don't allow, I mean, they're very selective, at least. I guess kind of. But they don't allow every man in. So really, you can't say black men this because you don't allow every black man into your life, let alone into your body. Okay? Here's the thing where the things you're saying, no man is perfect. No man is perfect. Okay? But this is the thing where I said you're wrong is that yes, it's her experience, but again, no man is perfect. I see, because the things where I said, like, I see you, and I'm not saying that you're perfect. Okay? You're short. I'm not saying that you're that good looking. But it's like this is the thing where I put what qualities do matter. This is what I see, right? It's the person, the morals, the characters, the values, principles, right? The work ethics, all these things that honestly I feel sad is that women like this, and where I'm not saying it's specifically her, but women like this don't have good fathers, nor do they have. And again, I'm not saying just her. I'm not saying her, but I'm saying in general, women like this shows you that they don't have good fathers or fathers at all in their life. Because this is the thing where good fathers, right? Because there are plenty of bad ones, but good fathers will vet other men, not because of how tall he is or how good looking he is, or how big his bank account is. No, they do it by what kind of man is he. Okay, does he want kids? Would he be a good father? Would he be there for his kids? Would he be there for his wife? Does he want to marry? All these things that actually make a long-term relationship. Okay, this is what I'm talking about, right? And again, I see a lot of this is where I said, right? You have to reevaluate. No, she is 100% wrong because it's the men and the few select men, okay, that she interacts with, right? This is the thing, right? Most women, and I'm not even talking about sex, okay, but most women have relationships, okay, with, let's say, I don't know, 5 to 10 men in their life, and that's a lot, okay. But let's say let's widen that gap. Let's say just women interact with in their life. Let's say and meaningful, not just one night stands, right? But meaningful interactions. Maybe 50, maybe 100 men. But there are millions of men on this planet. Okay, so this is the problem, right? Women don't interact with enough men. This is the thing. And I can say this, right? Most women interact with the same man. All right. That's the thing. That's the thing where you interact and you're attracted to the same type of men, right? Because a little while ago there was a stat, okay, kind of like an article saying that most men are single, while most women are not. That should make you think. Why was that? Why is that? Why would you think that is?
Why are most men single while most women are not? So what's interesting about that is that would mean that men greatly outnumber women,
No,
wouldn't it?
and
That's an
and they
interesting.
don't, and they
Okay.
don't,
Okay.
and men don't, right? And let's say I'll be more specific. Let's say age demographic, 18 to let's say 30. Okay,
Uh,
that demographic, right? So, what do you? How would you take a correlation to that?
Um. I don't, the women pick the men they like.
Let me help you out with that, right?
Okay.
What you should think about is that one, they're probably dating multiple men. They're probably dating multiple men.
Okay.
Two, they're probably dating older men. Okay, this is the thing, right? Women are hyper selective, and men that they give, I don't know, relationships to. So women like this, who complains about men, she doesn't like. This is the thing, right? If she walks, if you're in the same room with her, she doesn't even notice you. And this is the thing with a lot of women. Most men will be invisible to them. Okay, you're invisible. Women will be a man that works at CVS, a man that's behind the cash register at McDonald's, the UPS driver, the mailman, the guard, whatever. All these men are invisible to women. That's the thing. Okay, that's the main issue where most men are invisible to most women. The only way you'd be uninvisible is like either you're top tier man or you're mad ass creepy, right? And because you're bothering her, you're being a creep towards her. That's how she noticed you, but noticed you in a bad way.
And the
Right?
negative. Right. Uh huh.
Those are the two ways that get you noticed by women. Where you're top percent man, you know, you're charming, you're good looking, or you know, whatever your persona is really different, or you're creepy. But most men are not the top men, and I honestly believe most men are not creepy. Okay, so this is the thing where a lot of women suffer from. Where, and this is why I go back to why I said what I said at the beginning, where because men like you, men like James, right, and other of our friends, that how I see it differently. Okay, the sad part is, like, look at this, right? You've done like now you, I don't know. I guess you kind of give up, or you're not even trying anymore. Maybe because, and maybe in my view, is probably because of the unsuccessfulness of it that you gave up. Is my view, but those are the things where women like this, they don't see the good black men. Okay, and the problem is, right, with her mentality, right? Because at the end of the day, right, women are attracted to what they're attracted to. So
Yeah.
even if they change race, most likely they will still be attracted to the same archetype of man, right? So let's say a black woman is attracted to over 6 foot man, right? 6'2", whatever. Well, okay, if she goes to an Asian man, a white man, whatever, she'd still be attracted to a tall white man, a tall Asian man. Okay, not necessarily because he changed his skin, she would be different into her the type that she's attracted to. Okay, so that doesn't necessarily work like that. So a lot of times, that's a problem with a lot of women. It's not about the type of man. I mean, it's not about the race of a man you're interested in.
No. Yeah, I agree.
It's the type of man. Okay, that's the problem. Women don't necessarily change the type of man they're interested in, because I've seen it a lot of times. It's a cycle with women. Right? It's a cycle. oh, why is every man I date an abuser? Because that's the type of man you're attracted to, right? It's a cycle. Why do you like at the end of the day, right? Men shoot their shot at all, like practically all women, and see whatever lands. Women are selective, right? They're selective. So really, it's like a dozen of men could shoot their shot at them, but only one man will be successful at it. While men will shoot a shot at a dozen women, who knows if he's successful at that, right? So she chose the man that's successful, and the man's successful, right? Well, those type of man will always be successful because that's her type, and that's who she allows in. So these men that she allows in, well, they added these trauma onto her, right? These bad relationships and all that shit. So now she says men are terrible. Why did black men? No, not black men. Just the men that you're attracted to, regardless of their skin tone. It's the men that you're attracted to is the problem. And women don't understand. Like, oh, because women, in my all honesty, women rarely ever change their type. You know, it's like 1 minute they're not like they like it. Oh, I love skinny guys. Next minute, I love big guys. Rarely, if ever, that happens.
So, okay, I'm gonna respond. First, let me amend my statement. Yes, she is completely wrong. It's not a race thing. I see why she feels that way because she's attracted to black men and she's attracted to a type of man that has unfavorable traits. I agree. In any race, you can find the type of man she's attracted to, and they're probably the same type of man to do her wrong or cause difficulty, and that's a shame. I don't think it's about. I mean, physical attraction is important. I don't think it's all about physical attraction. I think some women are attracted to certain types of personalities.
Yeah, I'm just talking about type in general, not necessarily.
Yeah. Well, but that's what I think probably the problem is with her, or with some women. All of us have this problem to an extent. I hear you that people don't really that women don't really change the type they're attracted to. I don't think anybody really does. But you can.
I think I can pull back. I mean, I think I could fight you on that statement.
Okay. Well, what I was going to say is, I think you can rearrange your priorities to find somebody who's right. She could, for instance. So, I bet you. And I mean, we're just guessing because she didn't really say a lot in that video, and we don't know her. But I would guess that on her priority list of who she's attracted to, some qualities like swag, right, is is a lot higher on the list where it should be. Maybe when it comes to like sensitivity or openness or responsibility, there probably something she could switch. And if she made the better trait of more of a priority, she'd start to find better men.
You hit the nail on the head. Okay? This is the thing. This is the problem with all women.
Okay.
All women. Okay? Right. Here's the thing where I've said it dozens of times.
Uh-huh.
Where do you think charm comes from? You aren't born with it. Right? The men that are top charming, right? And not just charming, but working charming, where it actually works. The success rate is higher than the failure rate with that charm. Okay? It comes from practice. And that practice comes from talking and being successful with a lot of women. So here's the thing with a lot of women, right? You are charmed, and again, it goes with the bad boys, the players, the Chads, the Tyrones, top tier men. Okay, and you gotta think, right? When women think top tier men, they think about men that makes a lot of money. No, it's not just that. Top tier, especially when it comes to dating, is that men just have high success rates. Okay, these are top tier men. They have high success rate. So that could include a range of a lot of things, right? But a lot of these men who have a high success rate is that they're charming. They are socially calibrated. They know how to talk to women, right? They know how to interact with women. Sadly, they know how to play the game, right? They know how to manipulate women because they're used to it, right? They know what works and what doesn't. They don't come off creepy. That's the thing, okay? And this is the thing where women understand. She said, "Oh, they don't know. They're not monogamous, or they don't know if they're committed." Well, girl, these men that you're attracted to, most women are attracted to him too, right? Just imagine an athlete, right? And this is why I go back to what I've said before, right? How I'm not saying athletes are cheaters, but I'm saying athletes have the propensity to cheat more likely than other men. Because, and I'm not saying because they're charming, but I'm saying like when you have more options, there's a higher chance. And again, this is not foolproof. This is not 100%. It depends on the man. But at the end of the day, even if you are the most faithful man in the world, when you have hundreds, thousands of women literally kneeling at you, begging for you to take off their pants, it is you're godly, you're saintly for resisting it. Okay, and and that's what I'm saying. Even good men, I'm not saying that it's impossible to resist, but I'm saying even good men can fall for that shit. Okay, but that's what I'm saying. Where if even a good man can fall for dozens of women wanting to be with him, imagine a man that's average. I'm saying like average, where he's neither good or bad. How could you say that he can't? He could resist, right? And I'm not saying that resist where he's cheating. Resist where, you know what, he probably won't commit to you because he doesn't want to cheat, right? He doesn't want to cheat, but he also doesn't want to commit because there's plenty. This is the thing, right? Top tier men are rare, regardless. That's just how the world is. It's a sad fact that, men, the highly desirable men are rare. Plain and period. So those men are rare. Pretty women are not. And because you think, right? Most women are pretty to most men. So really that's just a fact, right? I mean, you have to be like really at the low tier of, unattractiveness to be not good looking to no man. But that's what I'm saying. Most women are good looking to most men. It's not the opposite, right? This by statistics, right? Most men are ugly to most women. And that's science, right? Or that's a study. They've done a study on that, where most women, at least on dating apps, find most men unattractive, right? So that tells you something, where most men are not really that attractive to women. So, again, that just shows you another thing where top tier men are highly desired. And this is the thing where women don't understand. It's not men that's the problem. It's men that you're into that's the problem. And you think, right? This is the thing where women don't understand. And you kind of touched on it, right? Yes, they put their own personal experience and label it as men. And that's the ridiculous of it. Okay? That's the ridiculous of it. Because this is the difference between, let's say, men doing the same thing, right? The problem is that men can cast a wider net than women. I can go for a woman that's slightly chubbier, a woman that's not, or kind of skinnier, because in my view, right, men can fluctuate when it comes to what they find beautiful, right? But women, it's usually, and a lot of women, they share that, right? Because that's why you think a lot of men are baby daddies to a lot of women, right? Because they share a lot of women. This is the thing where a lot of men, good, because the top tier men are desired by a lot of women. So a lot of women, they are saying, "Oh, men are this." Well, and then another woman say men are that. Well, a lot of times those women are sharing the man, sharing the same men are in the same group, right? So really, when your pool, your dating pool is so small, you don't really have much. You can't much to say because your pool does not equate to a larger ocean, right? And that's the thing. That's the I think that's the key difference in when what men say and then when what women say. Because men cast a wider net, so a lot of things they say kind of equates to I'm not saying all women, but maybe majority of women. While what women say, what they say is like a small percent of man.
Now, I mean, this might not be totally related, but just from your point of view, do you agree that a woman should be selective? Like, isn't that kind of how it's supposed to be?
I do agree women should be selective. I've never um I'm not stupid, right? At the end of the day, she should be selective because that's great. I mean, that's how science is. A man is entering her. She's not entering a man. She has the risk of pregnancy, her body, her health being affected. So, yes, she should be selective. But don't fool yourself in thinking that it's men. No, it's your selectivity. It's who you select, right? And it's a small percent of who you select. That's the issue I have, right? Men say it's what men say is different than what women say because their antidote is such a small percent of men. Let's say this, right? A lot of women say men are violent, men are criminals, right? Men are abusive, men are, and you talk about this kind of, right? Where men are the violent ones or they are the uh DVs, right? They're the ones who do it. But statistically, okay, I think in a year's time, I think there's about 400,000 cases, and those cases it both includes men and women as victims, and those cases include a wide ranges of levels of abuse. So it's not just like that's not to say it's not just sexual abuse, right? So it's a wide range of abuse. Like I may have touched her inappropriately or like grabbed her hand and shit like that. Okay. So, but that's the thing where I'm saying like, let's say that percentage, like and this is again, just off the top of my head, nothing's precise. Okay. That 400,000. Well, I just recently Googled, how many men are in the US, 160, over 160 million men. So that 400 case a year, right? And let's not forget that a lot of cases, it's the same person, same perpetrator doing it to multiple people. That's a lot of cases, right? If you're an abuser, you usually just don't abuse one person. It's just who you are. You abuse multiple. But that's a small percent of men, right? That's a small percent of men. So when you say that, oh, it's not all men, but if it's barely any kind of men. I mean, it's like from that, it's like 1% of men. I think if I'm doing my math correct, but I'm not good at math, but it's like under 5% of men, if that. So really, it's like it's barely anything.
So I don't really disagree with you, but I challenge you on that a little bit. I hear you what you're saying about women having a smaller pool of experience because they're very selective about who they are attracted to. But when it comes to things like maybe not full on violence or abuse, but like women don't choose to interact with a lot of men, but women do interact with a lot of men, or a lot of men interact with women. Sometimes it's not even their choice, and that's a large amount. So when it comes to I won't say labeling men as abusers, but
I think I kind
You
of
see
think
what?
what you're going for,
Yeah.
but you have to understand, right? The caveat is that, let's say with the abuse thing, a lot of times it comes from someone you already know. That's most cases. It's not strangers, not just man on the street abusing a woman. No, it's usually man you know. So let's say this, right? And this is where I'm saying it's usually the man that woman chose. That's the thing. It's usually the man that woman chose to be with that he's the abuser. Okay, and I don't condone it. It's not about me condoning it, but me. This is me where I hold it, and this is where I've gotten in trouble a lot of times. Right? Is that, and they call me victim blaming and shit like that. But it's like at the end of the day, okay, we all have to take accountability for our actions. If it was a stranger abusing another stranger, yeah. What could you do? What could you do? Really nothing. Right? They're a stranger and you just randomly did something bad to you. But again, statistically, it's not the case. Statistically, it's someone you know, someone close to you. And when it comes to a lot of times with women and men dynamic, it's usually the man that and okay, right? Like I said, it's usually not one way. Here's the thing where I saw this uh this story and stuff like that, right? We only see the outcome, the results. Okay? We don't see the situation. So imagine this, right? Yes, hypothetically, and again, I'm not saying that I'm condoning it, but we forget what leads to it. Because what I heard, and again, I don't know the science, I don't know the study and stuff like that, but a lot of times, domestic violence is usually towards women, towards men. Because this is the thing where we don't understand, right? And violence is also, or domestic abuse is also verbal abuse. And again, men have the propensity for violence, right? They have the inclination. So, and I don't condone it, but a lot of times women abusing men verbally, sometimes taking it out physically on that man because they think they're women, so they can hit man, they can throw something at a man and all the shit. And then a man can't stand it and he let loose. And the result, all the thing the police only talk about is that what he did, not what caused it. That's a lot of things too. We don't think about, because I told you my story, right? About my girlfriend, how we were arguing. Okay. She threw a book bag at me with the laptop in it. So really it's like, and I don't condone because I said that changed my mindset, right? Where yes, I got physical and I didn't hit her. I pushed her, but pushed her so hard that that she fell back and left a dent in the wall. And all these other stuff I said in another pod. But again, we forget that it's a lot of times because we only care about the results, and usually the result is the man, physically abusing her. But we forget about what the process of letting it to that result. Okay, I've seen usually and I think this is common when domestic violence is not just one on the other, it's both. Okay, both people are toxic towards each other. It's just so happens that, and I said it before too, I said this plenty of times, when men are emotional, that's the bad part, because men come with the physicality of it, the strength with it. So that I've said this in past things, which please check it out. Problem with men, when they're emotional, they come with strength. Okay, and strength that is more fearsome than women's strength. But that does not negate that women are abusive. Okay, a lot of times in abusive, and this is my opinion, right? In toxic relationships, both parties are toxic. Both parties are terrible. Both parties are terrible to each other. It just so happens, like I said, the results that when men are terrible, Well, it comes with the physical strength, and that's the sad part. That's the thing that we only hear about. But this is what I'm saying. Like again, right? We got to take account. I think both parties should take accountability because a lot of times women do not understand the emotional abuse that they can do, right? How they can hurt a man into being toxic himself, right? Being overly emotional and then getting physical. And that's the thing where I want to say that, like, you know what? We don't talk about that enough. And that's the problem with a lot of these relationships where again, it is who you chose. You chose to be with this man. Okay. At the end of the day, I feel bad as it is, right? And when it comes to any kind of violence, but again, I've always said this before that people always ignore red flags, right? So you chose this man, and you know what? He maybe had like, I don't know. Sometimes I think maybe anger issues, or he's rude, or he's or whatever. But you see these things, you continue being with him. So no duh that you know what it may ended how and violently.
Do you think in every instance those red flags show themselves? And the reason I asked is because we were just talking about charming men who learn to be that way through practice, right? They get really good at it. So, do you think it's very easy to see?
Okay, those I think those are kind of two different questions, right?
Okay. Okay.
I'm not saying they're easy to see. I
Mhm.
agree. I'm saying that they're always there. That's
Okay.
why I say, right? There'll always be red flags. They're just not easy to see. And depending on the person, they will make it hard. Okay. But they're not easy to see. I agree. I do understand that. And I recognize that. But this is a thing. Okay. This is the part where time is important, right? Where you're not being stupid. You're being logical and this is the thing, right? This is the part where I was talking about vetting, right? This is the thing where if you had a good father, if you had an active father, if you had a good brother, these other men relationships, right? And men relationships where they not actively want to have sex with you. They're unbiased. Well, not unbiased, but they're not actively. They will make an effort to care about your well being. Okay, this is the thing where women are stubborn. They don't care about other people's opinions. They will do things that they will do and get the outcomes they will get.
Okay. So, I think I have two questions. All right. Well, one statement. I hear you about. I do think that if a woman has good men in her life, good fathers, brothers, friends, they should give her an example of what.
Oh,
Of,
I won't be controversial. If you have a single mother, you're effed.
oh no. Okay.
You
Well,
will most likely repeat her same mistakes.
oh,
But continue.
not that. All right. All right. But I want to ask you this: what does everything we talked about? What does that mean for men? For instance, we just watched this clip of this girl. She said black men they said they have all these problems. They make dating so difficult, right? I think we both agree that's not the case. That black men aren't that way. I don't think I'm that way.
No.
What should I do?
Okay. Here's my advice to men that I believe and these are good men, right? Morally sound men that stand by their principles, men that live by their principles, right? They want commitment. Okay. They are, and these, like I said, these are good men. What you should do, stand by your principles, your standards, your preferences. continue being the best version of yourself. At the end of the day, right? Like I said, right, I've said this before. All you can do is control yourself. That's it. That's the only thing you can do. Only thing in life you can do and have control over is yourself. So, that in mind, stay by your standards, stay by your principles. Continue to be and strive for the best version of yourself. Excuse me.
Okay.
To be the best version of yourself. You know, look at this, right? And who knows if it happens? I'm not saying it will. But what I want to do is, right, continue to invest, continue to save, continue to try to grind and make this channel as big as it can be, and grow my self-value, right? Whether other people see the value or not, that's their thing. But grow the value in what I see in myself. Okay. If I see that, you know what, I have a net wealth that I think is good. I still have the morals and principles and standards that I have that I think are good as a good man. I don't promote cheating. I'm not into cheating. I like monogamy, whatever. Right, my own moral values. At the end of the day, when you think that okay, and again, let's put also things that where have things more than just women. Okay. My thing is like this channel. I have this channel. I have my friends. You can see I have geeky shit. Okay. Yeah. I love investing. I love saving. I love this channel. Shit like that. I'm saying, right? Because all these things I'm saying is part of me being the best version of myself. That's part of it, right? You have writing. You have your job. You want to improve yourself, right? These are the things where we are all trying to be the best version of ourselves. And that's what you can do. That's the best thing you can do. Where, a revenge, and not necessarily revenge, but let's say revenge on women, is that you know that you are the best. So look at, like, if I look at this, right? Look at this woman that she was complaining. I'm thinking about, let's say for you, right? Because she said she only wants black men, right? But if I'm saying, like, if I look at you and hypothetically I'm you, if I'm at the best version of myself and this woman's complaining, I was like, hell with her, because she's the one who's at loss. Because although I may not be her attractive once, but I'm the type of man that she says she wants. And if I know I'm here, she doesn't want me, well, heck with her. No wonder she's complaining. No wonder she's suffering from it. Okay. And this is the thing where, men gotta understand, right? Because at the end of the day, what's women providing for modern day men, right? This is not men like your fathers, your grandfathers, your great grandfathers. We're cooking for ourselves. We have roof over us, our own heads. We're making our money for ourselves. We're having hobbies. We're having other avenues where job is not everything. It's not the only thing. We have other avenues to sustain our lives, to fulfill our life. Okay. Just like women say that men are not everything. Well, men can say the same thing. Okay. And that's the thing. That is the best version. That's the best thing men can do for themselves. Again, to improve yourself, for yourself. Okay. And continue to strive for better.
I agree. I definitely agree. I guess I had another question. All right, I asked you this before, or I asked you a version of this question before, kind of. I just framed it a certain way. Okay, so this woman we just watched a clip of, if she were your friend, what would you tell her to do?
Get outside your comfort zone.
Okay.
That's the thing. A lot of women, right? That's a problem with a lot of women. I said it a while ago. They repeat their cycle. Constantly repeat their cycle, right? Oh, I'm attracted, and I only give the example because it's easiest. Like, I only like tall men. Well, okay. And then and you're complaining every time. So wouldn't that, at the end of the day, the only common denominator is you, because you're picking the same type of man every time. That's the same common denominator. You picking the same type of man. Now, I've yet to hear or see a woman that dated truly all, because like women are delusional in that part, right? They say they dated all types of men, but seriously, have you not? Because what they say, all type of man, they're usually talking about one, broke or rich men, which is stupid, or two, different races of man. But still, this is what women don't understand, right? Even if he's the same different race, let's say hypothetically they're all tall, it don't matter about the race when you still pick essentially the same type of man in whatever race.
Colors, right?
Yes, it don't matter, right? Type is personality, right? Let's say one man's a geek, one man's a jock, one man wants monogamy, the next man doesn't. One man, this inside is what makes a man the type, okay? That's the main type, right? Now, again, you could say that, oh, I did a skinny man, fat man. Okay, that's a little bit more. But again, it's inside that truly makes him the type. And that's what women don't grasp, because women generally base their attractiveness on money and looks. That's the thing, right? Men base how they do things is really like what I can get for sex and what I can get for a long-term relationship. Those are usually the difference with men.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, I think we covered all bases. Yeah.
Here, let's try this other clip.
Cool.
Really want to know why black men make dating so difficult. They make it.
Hi, I have an answer, and it's simply because they don't have money. So I've been thinking about this a lot as it relates to my personal dating life. A lot of my friends who are Black women who are in their late 20s, early 30s, who have been struggling with dating, who prefer to date Black men, and have been doing it in comparison to my.
Before we continue, right? Imagine these two women. Literally, and this is, I mean, to be honest, right? If I was a black man, I will be beyond disrespected.
Yeah.
Okay. Literally, one saying black, and this is like you might as well just say all black men don't want monogamy. All black men are poor. Basically, this is what they're saying, and this is why I had to correct you, right? And saying that the last woman's wrong, because this is what they're saying. All black men don't want monogamy, and it's not true, because again, I have friends that are not like that, and then this woman already started out black men are poor.
White peers and some peers outside of like other races, but specifically my white peers, as to why we all went to similar schools. We all went to similar schools. We all have similar educational backgrounds. We all work similar jobs. For bar, we would say we would live very similar lives, except I just oscillate in primarily black spaces and they oscillate in primarily white spaces. With that said, I think it's because white people, but specifically white also men, are raised in a way that they have generational wealth, but a generational wealth mindset, meaning that they saw their parents get paired off and married, within their 20s. They have grandma's ring and heirlooms. They have a house that they know that they will inherit. They have a mindset knowing that even if they lose their job at Goldman Sachs or in tech or whatever, that they have this sort of privilege that they know that they'll always be fine and they know that they'll always be able to take care of their family. So even though they're in build mode, they're not necessarily worried that they would lose everything. And I think that mindset is different for Black men, meaning that they spend a lot of their 20s and even in their early 30s really trying to play a game of like financial catch up, really trying to get themselves established. And because they're playing that game, they play games in other areas, meaning that they don't necessarily take things seriously in terms of getting married, having kids, buying a home, starting family, because those things require money. And if you don't have it, they're not necessarily going to, just take those things seriously. And again, I was just really thinking as to like why I'm in my late 20s. A lot of my friends are in their late 20s to early 30s, and we're still like dating and on dating apps and dealing with games and all the shenanigans that come with dating Black men. But then when I look at the Jennies, the Tiffany's, and the whatevers of the world, a lot of them who I have worked with or work with, why they all, ironically enough, got engaged all at 27, 28, around the same time. And it's all kind of like sorority like, very systematic. And again, it's that peer influence around them. If they see all their friends doing the things, and this goes for men too, they're going to go do those things as well. If they saw their parents do it, they're going to go do it as well. And I don't think Black men saw it from their fathers. And they also didn't necessarily and don't necessarily see it from their peers around them. So they don't also feel kind of that social influence to do those things, especially for Black men in major cities like a New York, LA, a Chicago, a Miami, maybe even Houston. Maybe in the South it might be a bit different. But yeah, there's more I can say on this, and I've been doing a lot of research. I'm actually going to write an article about it, just the differences and nuances between being a Black woman dating versus like my white contemporaries and their dating experiences. But yeah, the one factor that it boils down to is money. And if you
This is the thing, right? If I was a Black man, I would be so insulted, right? I would find it such a disrespect. Because let's say this, right? Black men aren't the only ones growing up in those kind of households, the broken households. Black women are as well. So to say that was Black men, no, because then you're shirking. Like, let's go back to what I said, right? All you can do is control yourself. But here's women, and I think this happens synonymously a lot with Black women, is they shirk the responsibilities that they have. Okay, they shirk the responsibilities that they promote. That they don't hold on. They don't take on the responsibilities of their own actions. Okay, I have a video up where a woman saying that like, she wouldn't put a man first because she would rather put children first than put a man first. Okay, that mentality shows you, because that shows you that men are not that important. It goes along with women have said, and I think we did a video on it or something, maybe not, but where they rather be baby mamas than wives because they find it harder to deal with being a wife to a man, catering to a man, how to be a wife, right? This is the thing where with Black women not thinking about. You are shirking responsibility. Do you even know how to be a wife? Okay. Now let's take out men, right? Let's take out Black men, right? How whatever they don't know how to be husbands, but do you know how to be a wife? Were you raised to be a wife? She might as well say she wasn't, but they don't mention them. What they do is they put the disrespect on men, particularly Black men, right? But where's your onus? Where's the accountability? Because as Black women, you weren't raised to be a wife. Because what? You could say that Black men live in that kind of household, but what about your household? Were you raised to be a wife? No. Even in, let's say, hypothetically, and this is synonymous, and this is a sad part, even if you are raised by a mom and dad in a Black home, what do they teach you? To be a strong, independent Black woman. Not to cater to a man, not to be a wife, not how to be a wife. That's not what happens. So this is the thing where you cannot just blame Black men. Say Black men, you don't about money? No, because Black men, right, are looking about what are their options, right? What are the women out there? A lot of women, or a lot of Black women, don't even want to be wives. They'd rather be baby mamas than wives. Why? Because you think about this. One of the epidemics is baby mamahood in the Black community. Okay? Women don't even require Black men to marry them before having kids with them. That should show you one thing, that they don't even care about being a wife. So again, this is why I where I support my black brothers, because this in my view, it is very disrespectful. Okay. And why a lot of times I said, right, one of my most viral videos, you know, uh about like black women seem to be the biggest haters of black men, because stuff like this, well, you don't see the hate, you don't understand the hate. Okay. Because she's not, she's pushing this narrative about money. You do not have to have money to have a relationship, to get married to a black man. Yes, you can have money to buy houses and all that stuff, but like, you know what, the change has to come somewhere. Yes, I get it, right? There is racial or history to it where there's not generational wealth, but at the end of the day, you have to make the change somewhere. Be the wife that a black man wants to have. But this is the thing where a lot of black women, they're so attitude prone, they're so independent. Okay, look, here's the thing where I put in my situation. I've said it before. I date predominantly black women. My baby mom, who I would, and we were on the rocks, but I didn't want a broken family. She wanted to have kids before marriage. Okay, because I wanted to wait, I wanted to get to know and all this stuff, but she wanted to have kids because she has complications. So whatever, it is what it is. But even after everything, I still wanted to marry her. She told me that she already has the kids. Why even get married? I'm like, what? I was like, and that's one of the things that showed me that, well, you don't even love me. I mean, obviously you don't love me because you didn't want that, right? And that I already knew that you didn't love me, but that's like a nail in the coffin. And raised by a single mom, no duh, that's her attitude in it, right? And it's just like, and again, I was holding down, sending money, being there for my kids, and all this shit. But at the end of the day, she's a strong, independent black woman who thinks that she knows it all. It's her way, the highway. And again, I'm not trying to use my scenario and a blanket statement of all women or all black women. But again, this ain't an echo chamber. This is not a lone thing. Okay. I don't know if you could agree to it. Probably not, because I know you. But this is something that a lot of black men are facing. And again, statistically, you see it, like, again, with the marriage rates. I've said this to you before. Before 1950s, black people had the highest marriage demographic out of all demographics. Okay. Now, after that, they have the lowest. Okay. And you think about after the 1950s, that is the big boom. Okay. And the epidemic of high baby mamahood. Okay. That's the thing.
I mean, that's, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to go into there. As far as the as far as the clip, I mean, that hurt to hear. It really did. I'll say this, because even though it hurt, like, I was listening to what she said because I didn't want to just be reactionary. Yes, unfortunately in America, there is a financial divide. And it is true that black people, black men, in a lot of instances have had to work harder to get what they have. It's not a reason why that certainly doesn't translate into a man being ignorant about how to be in a relationship. It doesn't translate into a man playing games with a woman because like the way she connected them didn't make any sense. In reality, black men who work really hard to be financially stable are going to take into consideration, I'll need money, yes, to take care of myself and my family. They take and a lot of good men who take that seriously will put themselves in a position to be able to take care of somebody before they get into a relationship, and may not get into a relationship until they know that they can take care of that person. So that's not a bad thing. That's responsibility. She turned it into something else. So no, I didn't like that clip. And yeah, I hear you about a lot of things you said. That's disturbing. Hmm.
And this is the thing, right? Maybe help get you get your thoughts together. This is the problem, right? Where again, not every white person, every white couple have generational wealth. No. But this is the thing where almost it seems like, and internet black women, I want to clarify because I'm not trying to, say all black women, but it seems like they equate men as money. Okay. It's like always money. It's always money. But this is the thing, right? It is 2024. There's two people. So two people will bring income. You know what the key thing is, right? A lot of women are hoping men will make more money so women can do a lot less. That is the key. And that is the comparison they want to make with their white counterparts. Okay? But this is a thing where it's the problem of past generations. Okay? And like again, I'm not saying let's not negate, and I agree, not negate the past. But when you live in the past, you won't change the future. This is the point where, let's say your white counterparts, their parents were together, their grandparents were together, and so on and so on. Whether they generational wealth or not, okay? But they decided to stay together. Sad part in the black community, your parents are not together, and then your parents' parents are not together, and so on and so on. But at the end of the day, you complaining and not making change yourself does not do nothing. Okay? It does not fix anything. And then you equate to men being, oh, if he don't have enough money, then girl, you should be working. It's a sample. Like I said, I've said this before. Being a stay-at-home mom is a luxury most people cannot afford. Okay? Most people cannot afford that. So don't be selfish and work so you both can combine incomes and then buy a house together and then save together and invest together. But this is a thing where I'm sorry, but black women, internet black women are being poisoned by, oh, my white counterpart, she can be a stay-at-home mom. Why can't I? Well, you ain't white. You don't live her life. But this is the thing where I'm sorry, but your parents and then their parents and so on has done you dirty or, didn't think about you. So the sad part is, or taking responsibility, is that now you need to think about your future generations. And this is the thing, right? This is the thing where I don't know if you agree with me, but this is the thing with marriage. It's not about your own happiness. It's once you have kids, it's about their happiness. And it's about your kids' happiness. And it's about your true generations, right? If you cared, right? It's about you not thinking about yourself, your happiness, and getting with someone that's, again, this is the part where you choose, right? There's plenty of black geeks, plenty of black nerds, plenty of black engineers, plenty of whatever. Not thinking about, oh, I want the bad boys, I want the drug dealers, I want the thugs to become morally responsible, to become monogamous, and then get better job. No, that's not how it works. Choose better, and then don't think about your own happiness. I mean, of course, you're not thinking about completely be miserable. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about be miserable and be with someone. No, but find someone that, you know what, can make you happy. No one's perfect, but can, you know, you can make yourself happy. The other person contribute to your happiness. But again, it's not your happiness is not the main concern. It's your family's happiness is. And that's the point where sadly, this wasn't drilled into minority. Well, I won't be controversial. This wasn't drilled into Black communities, at least not nowadays. I honestly believe when I said about the before 1950s and stuff, I think it was then. I think it's not in modern day. It's not drilled to modern day Black communities.
It depends. I don't think
in general,
I don't think you have the right mindset or online and saying anything like that.
Yeah.
But also, man, that is a lot to go into. It's a lot to go into. The Black, the makeup of the Black family is a whole show topic, bro. Like, it's a whole show topic. But
so that we don't have to. I guess we don't have to go into it, but we'll probably just more sticking to the dating dynamic of it.
Mm-hmm. But oh man, I don't even know. I'm sort of woo. You said a lot. I agree with you though. Marriage isn't. I don't know if it comes from watching like TV or whatever. Like those white couples, unless you get in their house and see how they work. I mean, if you want to be a stay-at-home mom, I don't think that's a bad thing. Just understand that it's gonna be hard to find. It won't be easy to find a man who can support a family without your income. It's possible, but not easy. While you're having trouble finding that, don't put down the whole Black race because that's not fair. And also understand that being a stay-at-home mom is work.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not you. I don't know if they imagine that while their mate is providing, that they just get to stay home and spend it. Raising children is hard. Taking care of a home is hard.
No, let me tell you this, right? And here's the delusion of a lot of women is that they want to be stay-at-home moms, but they want to have the convenience of modern day, where they expect men to not just provide money, but be there for their kids and be there for the relationship and be there for the housework. That is the problem. That is the issue. Okay. That is the crux of it. Okay. They want modern conveniences or modern ideology with traditional values. That's the thing where it's the delusion. Okay. It's the perfection that you don't deserve, nor is it reality. And that's what a lot of women, especially stay-at-home moms, expect. And they think, oh, you know what? Just because he's making the money doesn't mean that he should neglect his kids. Girl, well then, if you think that, then you should be making money too. Right? This is the thing where women, and again, a while back we were talking about this video where it shows that men are the saints and women are the sinners. Women are evil. Okay? Where they put this pressure on men. And a lot of times men will take it. Men will accept this pressure without saying shit. But sadly, they won't say shit until they explode. That's the problem, right? Where we neglect old school stuff. Okay? We neglect old school mentality. A lot of men of old age, they accept, like, this is why I said, right? This is why I support men. Because men, since the beginning of time, has always been the underdog. Okay? We accept that as men, we are expendable. We are the sacrificial lambs. We are what, We are the backbone of society. We accept being stomped on. Okay? But this is the thing, we're human. So a lot of times we only accept it until we can't accept it anymore. And a lot of times when that happens, same thing with DV, domestic violence, it gets violent. Right? The sad part is that men are humans. I honestly believe, okay, and I'm not excusing every single case or every man, but a lot of times we neglect the process. We only care about the result. A lot of times the result is like men being violent to women. We neglect what came before that. We don't care about the pressure that's on men's backs. We don't care. We don't care about the responsibilities that we put on men. We don't care. We only care if it affects women badly. But before that, we don't care. Right? We expect men to provide fully, only allow women to have jobs if they feel like it. We expect men to be there for their children. We expect men to provide for the household, cook if they, cook, clean, do chores, all that stuff. We expect that. We expect the man to be a good husband, a tentative husband. And what for a woman, right? To be a mom to her, to the kid she chose to give birth to have sex with her husband whenever she feels like it, if she feels like it, and then what? That's it. That's pretty much her jux of her responsibilities, right? Clean when when she feels like it because she's tired of raising kids that she chose to have. This is the thing where, to be honest, it's not. This is not. It's not as amazing as people make it out to be, right? They really put on such a heroic story for women, but it's not like that. It ain't. Not truly.
Woo! I'll say this. I think as far as like if I guess if you're a man, if you're a black man, uh looking for a mate, and I do believe that every relationship should be, however you did divide up the responsibilities that are part of every relationship, it should be as close to 50-50 as possible for it to work. Date, like, be with a friend. And what I mean by that is, like, you can meet somebody, you can meet somebody new that you haven't interacted with before. But I think all of us, we talked about how women do it. Men, when you make your priority list, and I know there's a list of things, attractiveness is always high on the list because it's natural to who we are. We can make sure we put other qualities higher on the list. But like when you date, I guess like when I get back into dating, I'm dating to find a friend or make a friend, because when you have that type of relationship that you have with friends, one that where you can feel the other person really cares about you, a lot of that stuff goes out the window. You'll find somebody, if you find somebody who really cares about you, they want to do for you, right? You want to do for them, but they want to do for you too. So I think that's the best way to not find yourself in a relationship where one person is just expecting you to handle everything. Because a friend isn't going to be like that, right? They, and you're going to want to do for them, but they're going to want to do for you too, and you guys are going to care for each other. And I think that's at the heart of making a relationship work, because that's at the heart of people being willing to move as close to 50-50 as possible. You marry a woman and you're going to let her be the stay-at-home mom, but she's your friend. She's going to be like, well, I want to I want to make sure you feel good when you come home. Or if you guys both work, then you're both going to share the home responsibilities, and nobody's going to just put all the weight on the other person, because friends don't do that to each other. So
I think that's gonna be harder than you think.
I'm optimistic, Dan, but I'm also not looking.
I mean, no, I'm saying I get it. Here, let's continue with this other clip.
Hold up. So you saying a man shouldn't date at all if he's not financially stable at all? He shouldn't be loved.
I don't think that has nothing to do with love. I just feel like you're in a place of you're still trying to figure out what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
When a woman requires, you're going to be spending money.
Right.
So then you can't get mad if she's what do you call it? If she's used to a certain thing, especially if you showed her in the beginning, but then next thing you know, it becomes less and less. And she's like, okay, what happened? Because it's not what you showed in the beginning.
Right.
So you put it up a front. I'm not saying you don't deserve love. I'm not saying that.
Right.
But at that moment, do you think maybe just being in your singleness will probably be the best benefit for you?
Yeah.
See, this is the thing where I think it's chronically sad, right? That all men is good for. It's just money. Right? Mm-hmm. Men are essentially ATMs to women. And then it's so counterproductive when you think nowadays that don't women talk about, strong independence, right? They're working, all this stuff. So what's the point of you working when it's all about men's money? This is the thing where, and this is where it's the sad part, right? Most men, the average income for men is $50K. And that's why women shirk at $50K. About being average. Because, that $50K is not enough for me. Why is it enough for you? It's enough for him to survive. It's enough for him to pay his bills, all this stuff. You forget what you bring. Right? This is the thing. This is the selfishness of a lot of women. You think his money is your... This is a synonymous term that constantly people talk about. His money is your money. Your money is your money. That is the most asinine statement ever. Okay? And it's disgusting. And it shows that you're sexist, right? These are the things where you don't think. This woman is sexist. Okay? This is true sexism right here. Okay? Where, okay, his money is for you now? For you to go on dates? Why don't you, where's your effort? How about you putting money for effort? No. All women bring are their bodies. That's it. Right? That's it. That's all they bring is their bodies. So that's what they bring to the table. So a man has to constantly bring his money to impress a woman. And this is the problem, right? Where a lot of women, they're living beyond their means. They want to live a nice life. They want men to bring them experiences, right? This is the thing where I recently, and this woman just ghosted me, okay? We were vibing, right? Personality clicking and all that stuff, right? And I said that I was going to take her to this restaurant, which is a chain restaurant. No, it's really low-key, not expensive, very cheap, okay? But again, this was the first date. I'm not out to impress a woman because I want her to like me for me and not because I'm impressing her. You said to me, what men can do. I go back to stand on your principle and standards. Okay. I'm not out to impress a woman because I did this before, right? Take her to Center City, nice, really scenic restaurant. But then what does that get me? I still don't get the woman in the end. So me spending the money and still having the same results, why even go through that? I rather, you know what? And here's my advice to men. You could take it or leave it. When it comes to dating, when it's the first few dates, I always do low commitment dates. I'm not spending $100, $200 on you to get ghosted anyway. I'd rather spend $30 on you and get ghosted because hell, I can, at least I'm getting a meal out of it, right? So I don't need to spend $100 on you, $200 on you, and then get ghosted anyway. And this is the thing. I don't tell men to expect sex, to expect kisses on the first date. I don't, right? Because it's just how this is my thing where don't expect it, right? That's just society, right? I'm not a Chad. I'm not an athlete. I'm not amazing. I'm not nothing. So I'm not thinking about, oh, a woman's going to have sex with me on the first date. No. But what I can expect is what I would do, right? I have a principle where I'm going to do low commitment date because, again, I'm not spending a lot of money on you and get the same results if I spent a little bit of money on you. That's the thing. I'm not looking to impress you by my money. And I can tell you this, I'm not poor. I have a house, I have a job, I have investments. I'm okay.
Yeah.
But I'm not looking to flash anything because I'm not a sugar daddy. Right? I'm not trying to. I want a woman for a long-term committed relationship. And to that, I'm not. This is the thing where maybe she said, like with these men, right? Being flashy, taking women out on expensive dates, charming her, showing her a facade. If you can't keep it up, then I agree with that, right? Don't do it. Don't do something you can't keep up. Okay? I say do low commitment dates, coffee dates, ice cream dates, walks, cheap restaurants. Because again, it's not about what you do, it's about you and her. If this woman, she ghosted me, it is what it is. But if she liked me for me, if she wanted to get to know me, she wouldn't care what we did. But obviously she didn't. So it is what it is. But this is the thing where I'd rather stand on my principles and then rather than spend $200 on her and then she still ghosts me anyway.
Agreed.
That money, this is the thing a lot of men don't understand, right? That money could have been saved to spend on a woman that actually cared about you. This is the thing. I could use that $200, that $300, invest it, save it, continue to roll it over until I find a woman that actually cares for me. And then that money that I saved from these women that didn't care about me, I could spend it on her. That's the thing, right? That's the thing we don't understand because women don't even acknowledge it, right? I could go on, like, this is the thing where I could go on 20 dates, 30 dates. All these 20 women ghosted me. So each woman, $200, $100, all these money, I just used for what? To get ghosted on? Dinners aren't worth that much, right? Men don't. I don't need experience, right? I'm not looking to go to Center City and try all these restaurants. It don't really satisfy me. Okay, it may be nice and all stuff, but I mean, it don't. It doesn't. Get me hot and bothered by trying these new restaurants. Okay, so this is my advice to a lot of men: low commitment dates. If she likes you, she likes you. If she doesn't, well, good riddance.
Right. It's all good. So I don't think she's entirely wrong. And I'll explain. I agree with what you said, especially about low commitment first dates. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I guess I would want to ask her some follow-up questions. For instance, how does she define financially stable? She defines financially stable as being able to, does she define it as having an access so that you can take care of somebody who doesn't put in work? There's a problem. If she defines it as being able to take care of your needs, of your own needs and some of your wants, like a man's financially stable if he can pay his bills and maintain,
this is the problem, right? You listen to it. That's not what she meant. She meant the first part. What you said.
What did she say?
She meant the first part. She said that if you can't take her on dates, right? She said that, you take her on this fancy date and then it gets less and less, right? The dates get less and less impressive. So it's for her. This is the thing, right? This is the thing you got to understand. Modern women or internet black women or whatever, the money is for them, right? How you spend, because this is the thing, right? This is the problem, right? I agree. If a man can take care of himself, he should be He should be a prize. He should be desired. He should be, but he's not.
Yeah.
It's not about him taking care of himself. It's that he has enough money to take care of someone else. Whether he take care of himself, that's his own deal.
All right,
the issue is if he can take care of someone, if he can take care of someone else.
But to an extent, like put her aside from a second. But answer this. To an extent, is a relationship a financial responsibility for a man?
Yes.
Okay. So if it's a financial responsibility that I can't handle, should I be dating?
Let me tell you this, right? I would say relationships are always a financial responsibility for a man.
I agree.
The key thing is that it's different nowadays. It shouldn't be such a heavy financial burden for a man. It shouldn't. Because here's the thing, what this is what women fought for: equality. I mean, there's double standards in the world. It is what it is. So that's why I'm not saying like men shouldn't have any financial, responsibility for a woman. It's a double standard. Get used to it. It's reality. The thing is that it shouldn't be a heavy responsibility. Yeah, take her on one date. Cool. Yeah, it's your take her on another date. Yeah, it's your responsibility. I've always paid for my first dates. I've always paid for all my dates.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a financial responsibility. Shouldn't be a heavy financial responsibility, which is also, I said, low commitment dates. It should not be a heavy responsibility because she's not a broke woman. This is another thing, right? If you got a woman that's taking care of herself, that's fine. That's enough, right? This is the thing. It shouldn't be a heavy responsibility because this is what women fought for: the equality. You're working, I'm working. I could buy this date. I can pay for that date. I can pay for that date. Okay. I'm not paying for you to go to, I don't know, what's the restaurant expensive down in Center City? I don't know. Every day, every other week, every other month. No, I'm not doing that. Right? That's not the responsibility. That's not my responsibility. I'm not out to impress you every time. And I'm not out to go on all these fancy dates or pay for all these dates for you. No. I'm not out to pay for all your nails. I'm not out. No, that's no. Okay. Because again, it's about what a man gets. And this is the thing, right? I vote another key thing I said. You put in the effort of the amount that you get back. Days gone are the days where men put 100% effort and get nothing back. That's gone. Right? That's gone with the gentleman. That's gone with chivalry. Right? Women don't deserve that.
All right, Future. So all right.
The man has many baby moms. It works.
It shouldn't be a heavy responsibility.
Yeah.
But let me go back to what she said. Or let me see if I got this right. Did she say? All right. It's two things. If she said you shouldn't date until you're financially stable, right? Is that what she was saying? Okay. Shouldn't date till you're financially stable because dating will cost money, or you shouldn't date till you're financially stable because the relationship you're looking to get in will cost money.
All relationship begin will cost money.
Okay, I agree. So if you're looking to be in a relationship, but you can't afford to be in a relationship, should you be looking to get in a relationship, or should you wait until you're at a point where you can afford it?
Let me say this, right? It is absolutely disgusting that relationship has to be afforded. Right? That's disgusting. If you cannot make do, right, with what you got, then obviously it's disgusting. It's disgusting because then you're making it unreasonable. So let's say this, right? The girl that ghosted me, okay. I could afford whatever. I could also actually afford expensive restaurants. So that's not the issue. But if the money that I want to spend, I look down on, then obviously You're this is the thing, right? Obviously, you're only looking for experience from me. You are only looking for me to impress you. I ain't doing that shit. It's not about me impressing you because that's so this is the thing, right? Gone are the days that it's one way. I'm not looking to impress you to get you with me. No, I'm looking for you to see that the man that I am and that you want the man that I am. I'm not looking to put on a facade so I can impress you to like the facade of a man that I'm putting on. No.
You should be impressed by who you are on the inside, not the flesh.
Character that I am, right? The type of man that I am, you should want to be with that type of man. Not because I'm flashing money to you, right? Not because I'm spending money on you, not because I'm giving you fancy experiences. No. Because you think about this, right? There will always be men that can give her fancier experiences, better experiences. In life, there's always men that have more money. Don't mean that there's men that be more committed to her than you. There might not. That can be, right? Because if I'm the man, my morals and principles are what it is. She likes that. That's more stable than the money issue, right? Because again, there will always be men that have more money than you, that can flash it better than you, right? And that's the thing where we have to understand that women are dating men on such unstable reasonings like finance.
Okay. So last counter. Would you, like, I hear what you're saying, but then the other extreme is, I mean, what would you think about a girl with a homosexual? Like, he's such a good guy. He's sweet, he's charming, but like, he definitely doesn't have his own place. And like, he moved in with me.
Yeah, that's
sleeps with my
I would chastise that man.
Okay.
Because then you think about this, right? You're not much of a man. I would say that I that's the thing. Yeah, I would definitely be on that man because, again, when you are not, I believe, right? How you are a leader of the household when you're living under her roof, she's providing for you. I mean, what the hell is that? You're the woman then. You're pretty much groveling to her, right? It's the power dynamic. That relationship will go nowhere. I mean, unless this man is like cleaning that house, packing her lunches. Okay, fine. That's the dynamic of the relationship. If he turns into the woman of the relationship, it is what it is. But if that's not your relationship, right? If you're not looking to turn into the woman of that relationship where she's providing for you, then you're not much of a man in that relationship either. But you're not much of a man regardless, right? This is where I said, right? Where I go back to what I said before, right? Being the best version of yourself. That includes, because if you be the best version of yourself, it's that dynamic where you are the man of this relationship. Okay? You will be the prize that you know you are. She will come to you because you're the man, right? She's coming to you. She's going to live in your house. You're going to provide for her. And again, I'm not saying necessarily in this day and age, depends on the relationship. I mean, for me, I can't provide for a woman, right? And I'm not saying I provide for a luxury. I mean, like an abundance, but yeah. I make enough where, you know what? If she's not living like Jones, I can do well, right? But that's the difference where, I'm okay. But then that's the thing where men should be able to work hard enough where, you know what, they can have that power dynamic. We talked about this before too, where I honestly believe to have the power in the relationship, well, money comes with power, right? And that's part of it. Okay. But I also believe that we have to set up that power. So in a situation where, let's say, even if it's 50-50, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta, as a man, you gotta set up a bit more leeway where you want to have a bit more of a power in that dynamic, so you should pay more stuff. Or you know what? All the dates you go on, you're usually the one who pays. bills and stuff, you guys split. You know, there's things you got to figure out, right? But you got to figure out how you could edge where you are the man, you're leading the relationship and shit like that, right? But there's a maybe more individual and stuff like that.
Okay. I get it. A nice balance.
All right. Let's do this one. Let's check this one out. I didn't know about this one, right? But this is like about marriage.
Okay.
Okay. I thought this was interesting.
In 2019, it's been a back and forth court battle to finally settle the details of his.
But I thought y'all said that marriage was just a piece of paper. When I was talking about, why doesn't Nelly just marry Ashanti right now? Y'all was saying, well, maybe not everyone wants marriage. Maybe people just want kids and not marriage. It's not even about if y'all break up. Like, that's not even the point. The point is, y'all was really trying to make it seem like marriage is just a piece of paper. But if something happens to him, we never know. Life expectancy for Black men is not that high, whether it be like health problems in our community, just different stuff. You never know. So it's like, why have kids and not marry that person, especially when y'all long term? Because she had to be in court for years to settle what kind of was rightfully hers because they were long term partners. If he would have just married her, and he should have just did that in the first place, all this would have automatically been hers. But instead, she had to battle in court for years. So I'm just like, y'all be acting like marriage is just a piece of paper. Okay. Well, when something happens to him or y'all break up and you don't got nothing for yourself, nothing for your kid, remember, marriage is just a piece of paper for y'all.
See, this is the thing where women don't understand. Okay? Marriage is a piece of paper. Contracts are a piece of paper. They're a piece of paper. They're lawfully binding piece of paper.
Yeah.
But this is a piece of paper.
But
Contracts are a piece of paper. But this is the thing where we don't understand, right? It's the man that you choose. Let's say I don't know this man. I don't know. I mean, I've heard of Nipsey, but I'm saying I don't know this man personally. He didn't want her to have it. Right? Because you gotta think, right? There's ways to go about it, even if you weren't married. There's trust, there's will. If this man wanted you to have what you think that it's legally yours, which that's beyond me, right? Because I don't know what I mean, if he made a will or not, it could have been just for his kids. I don't know the situation like that. But if a man wants you to have it, he would want you to have it. And there's ways to say that he wanted you to have it. Obviously, the man that you chose didn't want you to have it. So this is the thing. Well, yeah, you tell me.
No, go. You finish your thought, then I'll jump in.
Well, again, my thought is like this is the thing where women don't understand. Okay, marriage is a piece of paper. It's a legally binding piece of paper, and if a man wanted to legally bind himself to you, he would have done it. These men you chose didn't want it. So let's say Nelly. No man is stupid and thinking that, oh, what if I die? Where's it going to go? No, they know that, okay, I don't really care if it goes to you. That's not my, I don't want, I mean, if they want, this is the thing, right? If a man wants to do that, he would have done it. They don't. But what the thing is that, like I said, it goes back to what you control is yourself. You chose to be with this man that don't want to give you this. Well, then fine. You chose it, right? You also chose this man, like who said that people don't talk about it, right? They know that it's not yours. Like, let's say hypothetically, a house that Nipsey had. Well, is it under his name or her name, or is it under both? Probably just under his name. Well, that shows you he never really wanted you to have it. That's the thing where it is legally binding, but certain men or certain people chose to not make it legally binding for you because they don't really care if you get it or not.
So I guess I don't entirely agree. I'm not saying that that's not some people's mindset. I'm not saying that Nelly is like has reached a point that he wants to give Ashanti everything. I don't know about that, but I feel like maybe in like the Nipsey Hussle, Lauren London situation, and in a lot of situations. So first, yes, a contract is a piece of paper, but the the point she's making when people say marriage is just a piece of paper, what they're really implying is that marriage isn't more important than a piece of paper. As like a piece of paper that has a contract pennant on it, it's a contract. When people say marriage is just a piece of paper, they're implying that it doesn't matter if we're married or not as long as we're together. When in fact, in some cases, it matters. In fact, for people who are educated and are worried, we talk about this all the time. You're worried about what you're going to give up and what you're going to keep in a divorce. Marriage binds you to be into having to give something up if you get divorced, right? So it's a binding contract. It's important. And like she described, if your mate passes and you're not married, you may not have a right to the things they didn't give you. What I disagree with you on is that I don't know that people are either one, educated on that, or two, think far enough ahead. I don't like talking about the black community like any problem is just a black problem. I don't think this is just a black problem. I think it's more like a young person problem. But how many people in their, I'm not saying they shouldn't, but how many people in their 20s and early 30s are preparing for the possibility of death?
That's true. That's true.
Very few.
Yeah, very few.
If you're in a if you're
But
getting it, you're in a point where you're looking for new relationships, or if you're in a new relationship and you're enjoying life together, it's probably the furthest thing from your mind.
but no, but let me counteract with that idea is that you have to think about when you're talking about young people, but the difference is that you're talking about well financially well off people. Okay, this is the difference where let's say hypothetically,
Okay, I hear you. Go ahead.
if these were average people,
Uh-huh.
most likely she's not legal battling for a house because they probably don't have one. Like, is she battling for a rented room? No. Okay, this is the thing with like, yeah, most young people, yeah, they probably won't be thinking about it's just a piece of paper. Yeah, it is a piece of paper to average people. Okay, but this is the thing where rich people, no, you're stupid. It's not a piece of paper because there's millions on the line. There's millions. Regular people, at best, a couple thousand. That's at best. It's not like again. Let's not inflate. Population wise, about 15% or even less makes over 100K, and that includes men and women. So most weddings, most legal battles, they're not fighting over hundreds of thousands, if that. Okay.
So 2 points. One, even if you're not financially well off, even if you're average, like me, right? Right now, if something were to happen to me, I have life insurance, right? I don't have a ton. Nobody's going to get rich off my death, but that money is going to go to, right now, it's going to go to my parents. It'll pay for any arrangements that need to be made for me, and then it'll be something left for them, and it'll be up to them to spend. If I were married, I would need to go into my life insurance, right? Indicate I have a spouse, and all that would go to her. And even though we're just average, it would make a difference, right? Because if you have to bury someone and you don't have money, or if you have to bury the financial provider and you don't have the money to do it, it could be really detrimental going forward, right? Like you go into debt to take care of somebody, and then how do you take care of your bills? When you're average and you live closer to like day-to-day paycheck to paycheck is more important. But here's the other thing. Here's the second point, and this is really important. I get that they were well-off people, they're financially people, but not everybody rich and wealthy is financially literate. Especially, and this does kind of hurt me to say, but especially among young people, but especially in the Black community, because not everyone has to be financially literate to be rich. We're talking about Nipsey Hussle. He was a rapper. He wasn't rich his whole life. He came into it when he got a record deal. You can equate it to athletes, right? They are most athletes in like the NBA, NFL, Black people, millionaires. How often do we hear about them blowing their money or spending it unwisely? Are learning, or we see them later in life when they're older and like, I don't have any money now. All right, I have a lot less than I did before, and I still have to like do work because I wasn't financially literate. I do think that I don't disagree that it could be that Nipsey didn't want her to have anything. That's possible. But I more suspect it was neglect. Even to the point where it may have crossed his mind, but you waited too long.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree, right? A lot of financially illiterate people. I do agree, neglect, but again, that doesn't equate that if you're stupid, you're stupid. That doesn't change that you're stupid, right? Let's say this, right? The life insurance thing, you don't have to be married. You can, like, let's say your girlfriend, if you put her name on it, she will.
You're right.
So,
I'm not.
I'm just saying a lot of things. Let's say the Nipsey Hussle thing. To again, I don't know him. I don't know his personal life, so I don't know his idea. But he didn't have to be married to transfer things to her, right? That's the thing. So why I said that maybe he didn't care. He didn't care. I mean, yeah, it's probably neglect. I do agree with that. Probably they don't think, oh, who's going to think I'm going to die soon? But that's the stupidity, right? And to be honest, I think it's kind of the stupidity for rappers, especially. Really, you talking about shooting people, and you think that your life is gonna be high, right? And even she said, like, okay, the life expectancy for Black men is not that high. Well, then you know what? That should force you to be more literate. But it is what it is.
You know.
But that's the thing where there's wills. Okay, I don't know if this guy had a will or not, but that was stupid. Once you make $1 million, you should have a will, right? That should be automatic.
I agree. But I'll ask you a question real quick. If I don't know Nipsey's story, but it's more likely than not that a rapper, right, made a hit, got a record deal, got money. It happens quick. It's sudden. If they went from living in, I don't know, Germantown or North Philly to all of a sudden having money, it's not likely they're educated on what a will is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, whoever got them to sign that deal, whoever represented them, whatever, do you think they were quick to be like, hey, now let's take care of your money? Probably not, right? So I agree. I agree it's stupid, but some people just are not educated.
No, I agree. But this is the thing, right? Well, the problem is the woman that chooses you is also uneducated. Well, then you know what? Stupid people get stupid problems, right? I forgot her name, whatever her name is, right? Well, she's dealing with that stupid problems because essentially she's stupid. It is a fact, right? I don't know how long she's been with this man, but like I think she had a child with this man, and then you weren't like fine if you don't want to marry him, but you didn't talk about this man having a will is ridiculous. Okay, these are things that it shows you that okay, if I got a girlfriend, we're together 3 years. 3 years is substantial. And she's been there with me thick and thin. And then we also have a child. And you know what? We decide we're not going to get married. Or I said, I'm not going to get married. She said, fine, I'll go with it. But then she doesn't like talk about, I mean, and if I don't do myself, right? If I don't do myself, if I don't say, oh, I'm going to have a will and I'm going to put you on it and stuff like that, well, then that's sadly, that's how much I care about her, which may not be much. Right? Because I know that I'm financially literate. Okay, I'm not stupid about that. So if I actively did that, I know I don't care about her. So again, I'm guessing with these men, right? I mean, they're making the money they're making. Maybe they are financially illiterate, but it's a sad thing that they are since they're making so much money. But let's say on the flip side, I do not believe Nelly is. Okay? I honestly believe he's smarter with his money than Nipsey is. That's my opinion.
I agree.
So, yeah. And that's why I think. And he's been around more. He has more businesses. He has more things to do. So, it's fine that he doesn't get married to Ashanti, but do they have? I don't think they have kids together.
Okay.
So if this relationship continues, he doesn't have to marry her. But if she's not stupid and she doesn't talk about, okay, I'm being with you. Am I not on your will? I'm not, blah, 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 blah. Am I not legally? I mean, this house we're living together, is my name not on it too?
Yeah.
Because even if you're not the wife, if your name is on, this is the thing, right? Piece of paper, when it comes to legal, it matters, right? It's a contract. So even if she's not a wife, if her name is on a document, well, she's legally binding to that, whatever. So if they were living in a house together, her name is also on the thing. Well, she's legally entitled to it, right? Just like if a woman lived in your place and she's part on your lease, well, she's legally binding, responsible for that apartment. That's just how it works. She doesn't need to be your wife to be, have a responsibility to it. That's why there's multiple layers. Wife is not the end all to be all. But the piece of paper, well, there's many ways to do a piece of paper, right? But that's the thing where if both parties are stupid, or if he's the way he is and she allows it, well, then you being stupid, well, you're gonna get stupid problems. That's just how it is. So this is the thing where women are stupid. Okay, if let's say Ashanti, well, if she's living under a house she's living under his house, she's doing all this, she's wasting her youth or her time with Nelly. She's choosing it, and if she doesn't make smart decisions, at the end of the day, why would other people think for you when you don't think for yourself? That's just plain and simple, right? If she doesn't she doesn't have to get married. But if she doesn't make any other steps that legally bind her to him, then that's her fault, right? That's her issue. And then this is the thing where, let's say the Nipsey's girl, she chose to be with him, and yet she didn't bind herself legally to him any way whatsoever. And then she wanted his property so badly. Well, then that's because she's stupid. If she let's say hypothetically, the house that they lived in together, she didn't have a name on it the whole time, then that's her stupidity, right? That's her stupidity. She chose to live under a house that didn't have her name on it. Well, what do you think will happen? People will just give it to you? No, because why? I mean, people in life are greedy. They want their shit too.
I have to look at that situation because I don't really know.
Well, that's why I'm talking more in generality. Yeah, I don't know that situation well,
Mhm.
but I'm talking about like, let's say hypothetically it was a different person, right? And if they were doing that thing, if you wanted that property so badly, your name should have been on it, plain and simple. You think, and you know what? Yes, if let's say hypothetically, and I think it's dirty by maybe his family. I think,
Mhm.
right? Be, I think that's dirty, but that's a sad. You know what? That's a sad thing, right? The people that will hurt you the most are the people that are in your circle, right? That are supposedly your family, whatever. Those are the people that will hurt you the most. So sadly, she probably had to fight for a property for the estate towards the man's family, his parents or his siblings or whatever. That's
Yeah.
sad, you know, but you know, at the end of the day, you got like you didn't cover your own ass, and you expect other people to think about you, to be kind to you. Uh, I would say that's stupid. You know, it just goes back to you being stupid. It's naive and stupid, right? I get it that, you know what, she would have hoped that because she was with this man for so long, had a child with him, his family would see that and not fight her tooth and nail on things that he owned.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like, maybe it goes along to what you said, right? These are people, and it's, I don't want to correct me if I'm wrong, because maybe this is, I'm sounding terrible, right? But these are poor people that became rich. So now that they're rich, or I don't know, I wouldn't say rich, but now that they have money and money in front of them, they're gonna fight tooth and nail to keep that money. And it's like they don't care about supposed family or whatever. Because if she has his children, it's kind of crazy that they will
Yeah.
fight tooth and nail on
You
something
fight.
that definitely belongs to the children.
I mean, I gotta look into it, but I'm pretty sure whatever she. I don't know. I gotta look into it.
I am, yeah,
I imagine whatever she was fighting for was for their kids.
but you know,
But, you know.
that's the mentality, right? It's like if they didn't have money, well, they're not gonna stop and break that cycle of not having money. And this is the thing where she should have been smart. At the end, this is where I said, right? This is where I said accountability, and why I, maybe I'm crazy, but this is where I always blame women, because you chose this man and you allow his actions. That's just plain and simple. You allow his actions. You allow him to not marry you. It is what it is. Not put your name on a will. Well, you allowed it. Right? You, it's just, this is something that women don't understand, right? Because you gotta think, right? Holding a man accountable for what? He didn't allow things to happen to him. You allowed it. Okay? He did what he did. And you do what you do. But when you complain about it, that's the issue. He's not complaining. He's dead. He's not complaining about it. You are complaining about the actions. So it's easier to hold ourselves accountable than hold other people accountable. Okay? Because if I'm complaining about it, right? If I'm complaining about how my ex did me dirty, well, why am I doing it, right? Because all I could do is what I could do myself, where I control my own actions. She did me dirty. That's how she did it. I'm not sitting here complaining about it. Okay. All I can do is like, you know what? I should have been smarter. I should have done differently. I should have been wiser and not do the mistakes I did. That is the best action a person can have, is self-reflection. And that's so important. That's another thing I advise men on improving. Right? Now, I advise you on it too, right? Self-reflect, right? Reflect on your own life. View your mistakes. View the things that you need to do. Because at the end of the day, all you can do is control yourself. So the actions you make that's it. That's the only thing you can do. Your own actions, right? You can't control another woman's action. You can't control another man's action, right? You know, the things I'm telling about you, like I can't control you to do what you can do, right?
Mhm.
You will do what you want to do. At the end of the day, if you, let's say you complain about, all my money's gone, my money's going nowhere, I'm working so hard, blah, blah, blah. Well, bro, I told you to do something that could change your life. You chose not to do it. So at the end of the day, you have no right to speak anything, because that BS, well, you could have fixed it, but you didn't do it. This is the difference with a lot of men, right? We know we could do it, but we chose not to do it. So what's the point of complaining? A lot of men just stay quiet. That's the mentality of a lot of men. Unlike a lot of women, they just talk and complain. Right? This is the thing where I promote men to have and develop better self-reflection. I think that's the most powerful tool you can have, right? So you can reflect on your life, view your life, things that you need to fix on, things you need to improve, and stuff like that. Right? That's another thing I advise men to develop. I think it's been pretty.
We did 2.5 hours on
Yes.
some in-depth.
Let's see. What do you think about where we're going? What all these because these are things where I wanted to show you that, like, you know what, it's like a lot of disrespect towards, and you know what, it's sad, right? A lot of people like say, why you talk about black women and all this stuff, because sadly a lot of black women talk a lot of crap, and they seem to talk a lot more crap than other women. So I was like, I get the videos I could get, but what do you think? Let's we could start wrapping things up. So
Okay.
what do you give me your final thoughts
On today's episode, or on like everything in general?
Yeah.
I think like we've already said more than once tonight. All you can control is what you do and how you handle situations. Can't control what anybody else does. Because for all human beings, just a fact of life. I think if each of us, men specifically, focused on making good choices and doing things to make our situation better, to take care of our health, to take care of our own finances, the other things that we want will come. We can't trust somebody to do it for us. You have to do it for yourself. As much as we talk about women, the same goes for them. And we all make mistakes too. That's the other thing. We all make mistakes. So sometimes we'll make bad choices and you'll do something that's stupid. But if you're able to step back and reflect on it, you won't make the same decision again. And that'll apply when it comes to picking somebody. If you spend $300 on someone for a first date and it doesn't work out, well, that sucks. But next time, spend $30 on a first date, and if it doesn't work out, it didn't cost you so much. Or if it does work out, you'll find out you're with somebody who more interested in you than what you have. That's a good thing. Doesn't matter what color you are. You can still be a good man and a good partner. It's not about what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside. Those are positive things I took away from tonight's episode.
Yes. I agree. Definitely. I hope men will get to see this more and enjoy it and learn and embrace, right? Definitely, because I hope that what the audience or what any man will ever see is that, you know what, we're improving, we're learning, and I hope they can follow us on this journey, you know, because I want big things. Whether it happens or not, you know, we'll see, but I want big things for us in the future. And that's what I'm trying to go for. I think this it was a fun episode. You know, it's like definitely like, because a lot of things we were talking about, you know, even offline, is like it's very reflective in these videos that I'm talking about, right? Where I want us, and especially you, to improve where, you know what, we're at a part where we know ourselves as the prize or as worthy, right? Whether women see it or not, it's their issue, right? It's their prerogative. But if we see it in ourselves, that's what's important, right? I'm making money for myself, you know, for my family, for my future. And if someone joins me on it, great, and it's a benefit to her. But if not, it is what it is, right? I can still enjoy my money myself. So it's not, you know, it's not like the money will go nowhere. But this is the thing where I say that if we improve, well, it will also improve our mental state, and it'll also, you know, get us better, loving our life better, right? So at the end of the day, this is why I want men to continue to strive for better, you know. So I think it was a fun episode. I think you know, it's a learning curve, and you know, a lot of improvement. And I think it's an episode that I liked it. You know, I like to put these point of views. You know, the questions you asked were great, and so I could express my viewpoints. You know, where I think that these things need to be reiterated on what I believe, and you know, the things that I want men to understand and maybe adopt or process and see if it fits with them.
Mhm.
But yeah, I liked it, and I think it was good. Any last words?
No, it's always a pleasure. Let's do it again.
It's fun. Hopefully we can do this more, but we'll see in the future. I mean, we'll do it more, but hopefully we can do it regularly, but we'll see what it is. It was fun. If you guys are watching up to this end, please like and subscribe. Please check out my main channel. This is a channel where I want to live stream things, right? I have the live stream link in below. I also have the main channel link below. So whatever channel you're watching it, please subscribe to either or both. That's helpful. I hope you guys like the content, and it's been fun, right? It's fun. So thanks, guys. Later.